Good morning. I will call the hearing to order, and I'll ask the clerk to introduce the board members to you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The board members for this morning are our chairman, Mr. Garbigum, and we have board members Artie McHugh, Dan McDonald, Chuck Storms, Brad Robson, and myself, Felicia Fairweather, the Subdivision and Development Appeal Board Clerk. Does anyone have any objections to the board this morning? Seeing none, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. So at this time, I'm going to outline our procedures. First, I will ask the clerk to introduce the appeal into the minutes. Then we will get a presentation from the municipal rep, applicant, appellants, and then anyone in support of the appeal and anyone in opposition to the appeal. The board members, after each presentation, will have the opportunity to ask questions. And then finally, there will be a time for anything to be clarified, particularly by board members, but anyone involved in the hearing may ask questions through the chair of anyone else involved in the hearing. The procedure will be that we will introduce the clerk will introduce the appeal into the minutes. And then, as I said, we'd hear from these participants. It doesn't matter whether your presentation is oral or written, just as long as we have the information that we need. It has to be introduced into the hearing here today. And I emphasize that even if we're privy to information that's been presented elsewhere in the county, unless it's reintroduced here, we cannot use it in making our decision. So maybe I'm beating up on that, but it's very important that we get that information here. With that, I would ask the clerk to introduce the appeal into the minutes.
This appeal is against the approval of development permit 25D223 for 2 secans for personal use on portion southeast 03-22-29 west of the 4th Meridian. The appellant is Shauna McAnulty, and the grounds for her appeal were submitted to and reviewed by the board prior to the hearing. Please note this appeal hearing is being live streamed and will be available for viewing on the county's website upon completion of the hearing. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Ms. Bardnick?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and good morning, everyone. The matter before the board this morning is with respect to an appeal against a development officer decision approving an application for 2 secans to remain on the property for personal use. This is with respect to Plan 1112304, Block 8, Lot 10, on a portion of the southeast 3-22-29 west of the 4th Meridian. The subject property is a 6.57-acre country residential district lot that is located on the northeast corner of the intersection at Dunbow Road and 44th Street East. For reference, some of you may know better that at this intersection immediately south is the Carmody Golf Course. The Development Authority decision was circulated to those landowners within the subject quarter section and for 1/2 mile surrounding on September 17th and was advertised in the Western Wheel newspaper on September 17th and September 24th, 2025. This submitted application for development permit requests that 2 existing 40-foot secans can be permitted remain on the property for personal use. Secans may be considered accessory buildings to be used for personal storage purposes, provided the exterior finish matches or complements the exterior finish of the principal building, and that they are generally screened from view to the satisfaction of the Development Authority. A development permit is required for the placement of a CCAN, and the development must be in compliance with Table 4.2.17A, which is the maximum area for accessory buildings not requiring a permit within the land use bylaw. At this time, the principal residence is under construction on this lot, and it can just barely be seen to the right of this picture. And an independent development permit has been issued for a secondary suite detached, which is proposed to have a footprint of plus minus 80 square feet. In providing determination on the appeal of a development permit decision, the board may choose to confirm, revoke, or vary the decision or any condition attached to it, or make or substitute an order of your own. Any questions that you may have?
Board members have any questions at this time?
I do.
Mr. Robson?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through the chair to Ms. Bartnick. My question is to you directly. For my understanding of the CCAN foothill regulation, which was in our package presented, is most of what I've read through here is one CCAN. Yet this is an application and a permit that's been given for two CCANs. Can you provide some information on why that approval was given?
The one CCAN reference is specifically for 21 acres or greater, where one CCAN on 21 acres or more is permitted without a development permit. Anything additional or anything varying from that needs to be considered under an application for development permit. When we take a look at the fact that 780 square feet has already been approved for a detached accessory building, if you take the overall footprint of these two CCANs and you consider them as accessory buildings in addition to that secondary suite detached, it still falls within that table under 4.2.1.7.
Thank you.
Further questions, board members? Being none at this time, we now hear from the applicant or a representative for the applicant. We'd ask that you give your name before you speak.
Sure.
So we know it goes into the minutes. And just for these microphones, you have to get very close to them to you or it doesn't carry. So.
Okay. My name is Calvin Harapnik, husband of Kayla Harapnik. We're the applicants. We own the property. And this is my mother, Elaine Harapnik. She's going to be residing in the secondary residence on the land.
Thank you. So do you want to enlighten us with what the project is?
Oh, sure. Yeah. So our applications for two CCANs, they're just personal use. I had a package here.
Was the one that was sent in before, on the thing, it'll show the Google Doc.
You have to be within about 6 inches from the microphone to,
It is the Word document that we did send prior to. It will be in the package. It starts with the page that has our plans of what we will do to screen it. I don't know if we can bring it up on the, but
So it begins on page 49.
currently the two CCANs are holding all of our furniture, things like that from our previous house and from our parents' previous house until the house is developed, and it has building things in it currently like an air conditioning unit and a furnace for the primary dwelling. So that's currently what it is. future use would just be storing things for our house, Christmas supplies, things like that, as we won't have too much storage in the primary dwelling for kids and everything. You don't end up having too much storage. So essentially, it will be a garage for storage and his tools and things like that in there. In our initial application, we did state that we will be screening it with whatever we chose come time. And we were also going to paint it to coincide with the primary residence. We don't have any siding on that currently. And we were planning on, we're not completed probably building till April, May, in and on that time. So we were going to be painting the secans next summer once we move in, have everything determined for the house color and that. And then we did add on here what we are going to do in these pictures. If you want to go through that.
Sure, yeah. So we were going to screen the sea cans with trees initially, but since there was an appeal put in, we decided we'd step it up by adding a screening fence, and that's an example I put on the following pages. So just screen it off. The sea cans are just over 8 feet high. And so I was going to put a privacy screen 8 feet high. And I was going to build the screen 24 feet in width to screen off the sea cans from view to the adjacent property. That being said, we were also going to add trees to eventually block off the view of the sea cans to the north and to the east of the sea cans. Yeah. And then our hope is eventually if we possibly have a future shop there too. So, and the view from the south would be blocked by the shop.
Also, we did take into consideration what the county did say when we put in our application. They said to go stand at the sea cans and look at the houses from there to see what they can see. So we have some pictures there showing, like one says sea cans looking toward the west, where that is where we will put the fence screening, but you can also see they have a lot of trees as well. I cannot see any of their windows into their house currently standing at the sea can. And then if you go, there's one that says North View at sea can. We stand there and we do have a hill kind of right there currently that blocks somewhat of their view until you get to the east corner. And that's where we were going to put some trees. And then also from the back of the sea cans looking east, we will be erecting trees there to grow up to block their view as well. And on top of also painting the sea cans next summer.
Board members have questions. Mr. Robson?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through the chair to the applicants. When I took a look at this package, I couldn't tell whether this was going to be a temporary placement request or temporary placement of 2 sea cans, or you intended to keep them incorporated into your property for a period of time. That's one question. Then I have a second follow-up.
Okay. So for the time being, we were planning on keeping them for a number of years. So that's why we submitted as a permanent application. However, I think eventually, no, we might be moving them, but for the foreseeable future, in the next couple of years, 3-4 years, it could be there. Yeah.
Reason being, we are hoping to put a shop there eventually, with that eventually being when funds come to build a shop again, as we've put all our funds into building our primary. We just need some sort of storage until down a couple years when we have the funds to build a shop.
Thank you. And that was part of my second question. So when the shop is built, your intention is to take the material out of the 2 sea cans and put those into the shop and
Correct.
I guess a third question, if I may, Mr. Chair. Which one of you plays the ukulele that shows up in the screening diagram, which I thought was quite unique?
Oh,
That's that. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
Further questions, board members? Thank you.
Thank you.
We now hear from the appellant.
oh, we can go back.
Morning.
No,
My-
hang on a second.
Sorry.
There's a little face on the base there. You have to get that, and when the.
It is on, Mr. Chair.
Pardon?
It is on, Mr.
Oh,
Chair.
we don't see any light on the mic. Okay, sorry.
Oh, it's okay.
And you are?
Shauna McNulty.
Thank you.
Begin. My name is Shauna McNulty. I want to thank you for the opportunity to express my concern over the placement of the two sea cans on the property referenced in the permit in question, which borders my eastern property line. Firstly, I want to emphasize that I'm not opposed to the presence of the sea cans on my new neighbors or rural properties in general, as they do provide landowners with a reasonably priced alternative to brick and mortar structures. What my objection is based on in this particular case is the placement of the sea cans in their present location, which directly impacts my easterly view, and therefore, sorry, I'm not good at public speaking, my peaceable enjoyment as well as the value of my property. I am familiar with the land parcel in question, and I believe that there are other locations on said property that would have a much less of a negative impact on my property as well as those of the neighboring lots, and that would be my first preference. In the event that the council decides in favor of this location approval, I understand that there are conditions which must be met in order for a final approval to be granted. However, the detail of exactly what landscaping in particular is contemplated has not been substantially defined, and the time frame of 24 months to complete these conditions seems excessive. In conclusion, I would hope that the council appreciates that my intentions again are not to object to the presence of these sea cans, but to seek other options that would be satisfactory to all concerned.
Just before we go to questions, in the package that we have,
Yeah.
is that your house we're seeing here?
No, it's my fence line.
So
That-
where are you relative?
That's the back of my property.
That's the back of your property?
Yeah.
Okay. Board members, questions? Mr. McDonald?
Question through the chair to the appellant. Where would be an acceptable, from your point of view, placement of these sea cans?
I think kind of towards the southeast of the property, kind of in the corner, maybe along like Dunbow Road. In my opinion, it wouldn't really be affecting any of the neighborly or the other neighbors' views as well.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Further questions, board members? Thank you.
Thank you.
The next person on my list is Steve McNulty. Pardon? Okay, thank you. The next people is Howarth.
Hi, thanks for the opportunity to speak. I'm not against the neighbours having sea cans.
Excuse me, you are?
Sorry, I'm Paul Howarth.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm not against our neighbours having sea cans. I echo the previous resident's conversation where she said that there are other places that are more appropriate for this on the property. It's unfortunate we can't speak as neighbours. I have approached them over another issue before and it became quite fraught. So here we are today. I would ask there to be strict conditions put on any approval that the committee would give today. With regards to the sea cans, the area has been, as you'll have seen in the pictures, not kept very well. There's been a lot of stuff around those sea cans and it's been in quite an uncouth condition. So I would ask there are other things on the property. There's bins and there's a lot. I don't know if it's junk or what it is. I haven't been close enough to find out, but it hasn't been kept in a very nice condition for their surrounding neighbours. So I'd ask if you do approve them, which I'm not necessarily against, that they be put in a better position on the southeast side, as Shauna just mentioned, where there is cover and there is trees, and that there are further conditions once the house is met. And I'd ask there to be a time limit on how long those sea cans are out there after the shop is built would be fine with me. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Board members have questions? Thank you, sir. And the next person on the list is Florence McNeil. You have nothing? Thank you. So that's the end of my list of people here. Oh, okay. Yes, we have that in our package.
Mr. Chairman, he is number 5 on your list.
Pardon?
He's number 5 on your list.
Yeah, we just heard from him.
Heard from Mr. Howarth.
Of our names.
Oh, okay.
We both wanted to speak today, if that's okay.
So did you have something you wish to add?
I do, please, yeah. So thanks for the opportunity to speak today. My name's Craig Walker, and I live directly adjacent to the Harapnock property, sharing their property line. I'm also here to respectfully oppose the approval of the retroactive development permit for the 2 sea cans as it currently stands. I'd like to be clear as well, I'm not opposed to residents using their property for personal storage, nor to the reasonable use of sea cans. Many of our neighbours, including some who border my property, have them. The difference between these sea cans and those of other neighbours is how those sea cans are placed and maintained, and the care that's taken to respect neighbouring properties. Unfortunately, that standard I don't believe has been met in this case, and I believe that the application should be denied as it's presented to you. My concerns are based on 3 primary points. First, the placement of the sea cans. The current location is in the middle of the lot in a highly prominent position and directly behind my rear deck. I've invested significantly in this outdoor space. It's where my family and I spend much of our time in the summer months. And instead of open views, we're now faced with 2 industrial containers at the center of the sight line from my deck and yard. They're also clearly visible from the rear of each of the 3 neighboring homes that border the property. The Foothills County Community Standards Bylaw speaks to the importance of avoiding unsightly premises and ensuring that structures on a property do not negatively impact neighboring residents. Placing large storage containers in the most visible part of the lot directly conflicts with that principle. Second, the upkeep and condition of sea cans and the surrounding area. After the containers were placed without prior approval, a large rectangular area of earth was dug out beside them. That area, which is for the proposed future lot, which does not have any planning, was never used and is now overgrown with weeds. The displaced dirt was piled up on the opposite side of the containers and has also become a mound of weeds. It's this mound that is noted in the application as landscaping that blocks the view from the north. Additional equipment, debris and materials have been stored around the sea cans, compounding that unsightly appearance. Again, the community standards bylaw is clear. Property owners are required to maintain their land to prevent it from becoming unsightly or detrimental to the surrounding area. The current state of this property does not meet those expectations. Third, I have an issue with the respect and good faith. Earlier this year, Paul mentioned we respectfully raised concerns about their dog digging holes in our property. The response from the Haraknups was to install a fence. That fence was hastily and poorly constructed with mismatched posts, uneven spacing and varying heights. It has created an unsightly barrier rather than a reasonable solution. This overreaction raises real concerns about whether the property owners will act in good faith to properly screen or maintain the sea cans in the future. Respectful cooperation with their neighbours has not been demonstrated. I have images in support of these statements and I encourage you to review them. I believe that the application should be denied. However, if council is inclined to approve, I respectfully request that that approval be made conditional on the following pieces. Relocation of the sea cans to a less conspicuous position, specifically the far southwest or southeast corner of the lot. In the southwest, there's an abundance of mature trees that provide natural screening where they do not directly impact neighbouring properties. And again, as the sea cans were brought on site without the required approval, I'd request that this condition require compliance within a limited time frame, and I'd suggest 60 days. Screening of the containers with appropriate fencing and landscaping, and painting of the sea cans in a colour that reduces visibility and blends with the natural surroundings, and upkeep and maintenance conditions, ensuring that the property remains consistent with the community standards bylaw. I also note that I'm not the only neighbour affected by the placement of these containers, and whilst I do not wish to speak on behalf of others, other neighbours share those similar concerns. So this is not simply a personal inconvenience, it is a broader neighbourhood impact. I did note in the appeal pack an email of support from Rick and Marsha Aslip, who live 2 streets away, so they would be unaffected by these sea cans. Again, this is not about preventing my neighbours from making use of their property. It's about ensuring that their use is consistent with Foothills County's community standards bylaw and that it respects the rights of those that live in the neighbourhood. For these reasons, I respectfully request that the permit be denied as proposed, or that the conditions I've outlined be imposed to ensure compliance with bylaw and fairness for all neighbours. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Board members, questions? I do. Mr. Robson?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. If it's possible to put up the map of the. Thank you. I just wanted to have an opportunity for Mr. Walker and Mr. Haworth, since it's up, maybe have Ms. McNulty show where their property is on this map.
I apologize, Mr. Chair. I've been trying to get my map to work. And unfortunately, the stripped down version that does not identify names, etc.,
Would this
is
help?
not available.
Okay.
That will
Walk
definitely
you through
help.
that map.
So
If you wouldn't mind, would you
I can.
approach and just point out where
sure.
you? Yeah, thank you. Oh, okay. Perfect. Thank you very much. Right.
So Paul and I's property is directly to the east. So that north-south property line to the east is shared with our property. Yeah.
Ms. McNulty, yours is?
Shauna's is directly to the northwest. So what makes that property an L shape? Yeah. So we're both direct neighbors.
Thank you. Nothing further.
Board members, questions? Mr. McHugh?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and through the chair to the appealant. I don't know if you have our package there, but this page 63, the brown house, is that your house?
The dark brown house is Shauna's, and ours is kind of a lighter beigey color. Paul thinks it's pink. I don't think it's pink.
Thanks.
Further questions, board?
So the picture that's being shared on the screen there, that's from my deck. And the house on the other side of the sea cans there is Shauna's. No, that's property to the north. This one is mine. So in the application, page 54, east view from the sea cans, that's my property. There you go, that bottom picture there.
Further questions, board members? Thank you. Those are the names that I have on the list here. Does anyone else wish to speak? You'll have time for closing. Any points of clarification, board members? Mr. McHugh?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through the chair to the development officer, is there a temporary allowance for CCANs for properties under construction as well? I'm understanding that this is a development permit for them to be there permanent, but didn't see a temporary under 4.217.
Bear with me, please. There is, and I'm just trying to find it for you so that I can be distinct. We do have under section 4.2.1.52, temporary facilities if they're removed within 30 days of project completion. And then under 4.2.1.61 is the placement of no more than one temporary storage container on a property for up to 60 consecutive days per year. Such containers shall contain no explosives or flammables and shall be located on the site in a location that meets minimum setback distances for the appropriate land use. An example of temporary storage containers may include, but is not limited to, sea cans. That was under dot 6.1.
Mr. McHugh, does that address your questions?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yes, it does. I guess just one further, sorry. The setback to the fence for the sea cans, could you just reiterate what that setback was?
Setback at this general location, because it's not facing a road surface, is 15 meters from each property line.
Okay, thank you.
Further points, board members? We'll now go to closing comments. They're not necessary, but I will just list out how we are going to proceed. First, we'll go to the municipal representative. Then we will hear from the applicant, followed by the appellants. And then if the board members have any final points of clarification at that point, we would open it up for then. So I will go to the municipal rep. Do you have any closing comments?
I have nothing additional. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. So does the applicant wish to have any closing comments?
Hi, sorry. Just to start with the one that says Seacan's looking towards the west, that would be Shauna McNulty's property. As you can see where you stand from the Seacan, and the part of the building that is showing is her garage. So from her house, you with her trees, you can't really see. She is suggesting moving it to the front of our property. Where's that? The front of the property where as soon as you come onto our property from the front, you're onto our road, it slopes down towards Dunbow. So it isn't potentially possible to put a Seacan down the sloped hill. If we were to put it up on the other side of the road, it would actually impact her view more because you could see her deck from that position. And so she would see it more than back where we have originally put it.
And also I'd make note that there's an ATCO pipeline that runs through from the west to the east on the south end. No structures can be put within their pipeline right away there. So that's not an option, unfortunately. So we placed the Seacans where they were because it was a flat area of the land, the only real flat area other than where our house is currently being built. So that was just the only option to put a building there. And that's why all our buildings are going there, is because anywhere in the southwest corner is on a significant slope. I think you can see that from the picture, from the very first picture of the application.
And the pipeline actually is going to Rachel's house from the Dunbow Road. It goes right through our property to her house there. So it goes across our property line there. So that's where the problem lies. Also with the comment they made about the fencing that we did, they came onto our property because our dog was running onto their property. So when we did it quickly so that our dog wouldn't go on their property, because the original fence when we bought the property was just left there all torn down. There was barbed wire all over the place. We went and cleaned it up. We put a fence up really quickly. They told us they did not want any part of paying for any of it. So we just went ahead and got a fence up so that there was no problem. We thought we did the best we could to help that situation. In regards to things around there, again, we have nowhere else to store things during construction. He's out there building things, so you will see like a tool bench there, things like that. The kids' snow riding equipment to go play out on the snow, their bikes to outride out there, something to entertain them while we are building. Other than that, it's just things we have in the meantime.
And there are some things around the CCAN. We made the choice to take some stuff that would be stored in the CCAN that wouldn't be affected by weather. We've had them put outside while we have flooring, wood flooring inside, tile for the house, appliances, a furnace, an air conditioner. There's stuff in the CCAN for the building of the house that we didn't want just left out weathered, but the stuff that is outside can be left outside. Like there's barbecues, there's other things like that. So that's why there's stuff around the CCAN, but our plan is to keep it to have all that stuff organized and put into the CCANs when all our building materials are done and a primary residence is finished.
Also, one more thing, the upkeep of the land is also a little bit difficult when you do not live there. Like I have said previously, we have 4 kids. One of them has a lot of medical appointments with school and both of us working. We're doing our best to upkeep the land while we're not living there. When we do live there, of course, it will be better.
Thank you. For board members, we can go to one period of questions after we've had everyone's done their closing comments. Thank you. Do any of the appellants have any closing comments?
The only item that I'd really like to respond to is just the storage of additional items there. So there's images that we submitted that are obviously demonstrate or show a lot of things stored around the CCANs. That's not recent. That's been there since last spring, a little closer. It's been there since last spring. And then there's a lot of additional tote bins, again, that have been there since last year, way before construction started. And I think, and I'm not sure, but I think before all of the planning was approved, they moved a lot of tote bins and things on the property. So it doesn't make much sense to me that it's stuff for the house because it was moved on so long ago. And it's more than just personal equipment. There's big metal industrial looking equipment there as well. So it's beyond just personal stuff like barbecues.
That's basically the point that I was going to add on to, is that basically since they took ownership of the property, a lot of storage bins and Rubbermaids and totes, even along the entrance of the property, it's been there since the very beginning. It hasn't just been since the construction of the new development.
Thank you. Do board members have any questions to anyone that just made their closing comments?
I do, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Robson?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My question is to the applicants. Sorry, I just go to where a human being is sitting. So to the applicants, recognizing that your neighbors view this property literally and figuratively as a storage and in some form a neglected property without anybody living on it, without any care and maintenance on a daily basis of it, would you consider a requirement that the property is maintained in a particular way, meaning that the standards imposed upon the county for cleanliness, for weed control, for general look and appearance of that as yet unoccupied property as a condition of approval of the CCANs?
Sorry. Well, I believe there is already a condition just to keep your property maintained, so I'm not sure what additional conditions would look like.
Maybe I can clarify. What I've heard today is you're in, and this is to help me make a decision.
Right.
You're in the process of building a primary residence on this property. Your neighbors are watching you build a primary residence on this property. And as of the moment, the impression I've received from listening to your neighbors is that it's a neglected piece of property that is, I'm sorry, sir, this is what I'm hearing. I'm offering an opportunity for us to understand each other. Yeah. Truly. They view this as a piece of property that's used for more storage than construction. They don't see a path to when the primary residence will be built. I'm only repeating what I'm hearing from them. I'm asking you if you would think that there's something that we could provide or come to an agreement on that would allow the property to look better, that would allow their view of their country living, much like the reason you've purchased there, the same thing. What could we do is apply requirements for you to follow, very strict, very specific, or we can have an understanding from you that these are the things you would like to accomplish to facilitate your neighbors being the friendly neighbors and happier neighbors. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I understand where you're going with this. Yeah, like
I believe there is some middle ground we can meet at here and make it easier for everybody. I believe it's got to be within reason on both sides though as well.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair.
Board members, any further points of clarification? Mr. McHugh?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through the chair to the development officer. This is a development permit for CCANs, but the primary residence is not completed. So we kind of have the horse before the cart. Can you help me understand that process a little bit?
You'd have to ask the applicants as to what occurred, but the county did become aware, I believe it was at the time of application for secondary suite, that 2 CCANs had already been located on the property. So they are existing. It's not like this is a new approval to move them on. This is bringing them into compliance.
If I can clarify that for you, there is quite a few properties around there that do have CCANs on them. We were misinformed. We didn't realize we had to put a permit in to place them. We did get somebody call in and put a complaint in, and that's what got the foothills onto us. And right away we put in the application to get it approved. We did put it as a permanent one, as like we did say earlier. We didn't know how long it would be till we had the funds for a shop. So we realized 30 days after construction, we wouldn't be able to be putting up a shop for things that still need storage.
Okay, thanks for that. Further to that, through the chair to the applicants. On your construction plan for screening, page 50 of 128, if the CCANs are located 15 meters off the property line, the suggestion is you're going to put the screening at 1.5 meters. I guess that's fine if it achieves the screening requirement element, but there's no timeline there. Is there? What can we do for a timeline here? And would the intent be to keep it tight to the CCANs or get it so that everything is screened, or what? Do we have a reasonable timeline on this screening?
Okay. I'll answer the one question about the distance. We put the distance from the fence line because there's doors on that side, so they have to be accessible, opened up. And we figured it'd be closer to her fence line. It would block more. That was the idea as well. But there's a road there. They butt up to the gravel road. So putting a screening right in front of them with the doors, and that said, not possible. So the application for the screen was just to be in front of the CCANs. I was going to extend it further past on both sides so that It would block off the view on that side. That was going to be done as soon as possible this summer. I was going to start the whole landscaping plan. So screening, trees installed this summer.
And through the chairs to the applicant, could you speak to the berm? Is that just a topsoil berm? What is the height and what are the plans for the berm?
The berm was going to stay there. Like it is blocking the view from the north property. We haven't heard any complaints from the property to the north about it at all, but we were going to plant some more trees anyways to block the view of the Seacan on the northeast side.
We also have had some conversations with them and they know that we're in transition as well. And there are plans going forward.
Okay, thanks for that. A little bit more clarity on the berm. Is it topsoil?
Yes.
And what is the height?
It varies between 6 feet and 5 feet about, and the length of it is probably about 20 some feet long. So I didn't actually measure it.
So 2 meters.
Well, yeah, just maybe a little bit below 2 meters high. Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Mr. Storms, you had a question?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. To the applicants, two of the appellants have suggested the southeast corner of your property. You've addressed the southwest corner being too sloped. Can you tell me about the southeast corner?
Yeah, the southeast corner is got an ATCO pipeline running through it. So there's a right of way that nothing can be placed on. Also, that's where the septic system area is for the house. So I don't think constructing the septic area there. So
So there is no part of the southeast that could be used for the Seacans? You can't avoid the pipeline?
well, there are electrical lines also running on the east side of the property that run north and south on the east side. So also didn't want to be near those. If we ever had to move the Seacans and stuff, there's issues there. But yeah.
I also don't know if that would correct any of their view from their house. They would still see it. Rachel's house, maybe our current construction would block it, but he would still be seeing it. It might actually be more he would end up seeing from their property line. And we do have, like he said, the septic going in there, the cistern. We have all of that construction going around that area as well. And it would just, the location of where we chose to put it was the flat ground, the easier access for them delivering all of that stuff, construction things going in there, air conditioning unit, furnace, all that stuff, flooring, everything, just easier access for the building construction as well.
Thank you.
Further points of clarification, board? Ms. Bartnick, did anything come up that you needed to jump in here?
I don't believe so. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, with that, I will close the hearing. The board will make its decision today. The decision will come out in writing in about 15 days. Thank you all for your participation today. Thank you. Good morning. I will call the hearing to order and ask the clerk to introduce the board members to you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The board members for this morning are our chairman, Mr. Garbigum. And we have board members Artie McHugh, Dan McDonald, Chuck Storms, Brad Robson, and myself, Felicia Fairweather, the Subdivision and Development Appeal Board Clerk. Does anyone have any objections to the board? Seeing none, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Just, I will outline our procedures, how this goes ahead. First, I will ask the clerk to introduce the appeal into the minutes. Then we will have a presentation from the municipal representative. Then we will hear from the applicant, appellant, anyone in support of the appeal, anyone in opposition to the appeal. And then finally, there will be a time where the board members in particular will get points clarified. But after each presentation, they will also be given the opportunity to ask questions of that presentation. At the time of clarification, anyone involved in the hearing can ask questions of anyone else involved in the hearing. So with that, I would ask the clerk to introduce the appeal into the minutes.
This appeal is against the approval of development permit 25D218 for a secondary suite detached and oversized accessory building on portion northwest 282101 west of the 5th Meridian. The appellants are Archie and Cindy Hall and Jennifer Treherney, and the grounds for their appeal were submitted to and reviewed by the board prior to the hearing. The appellant Archie Hall has confirmed that himself and appellant Jennifer Treherney will not be in attendance today and would like their concerns heard through their written submissions. Please note, this appeal hearing is being live streamed and will be available for viewing on the county's website upon completion of the hearing. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Ms. Bartnick?
Thank you and good morning, everyone. The matter before the board is with respect to appeals against the development officer decision approving an application for a secondary suite detached and an oversized accessory building on Plan 9511487, Block 1, a portion of the Northwest 282101 west of the 5th Meridian. The subject property is a 10.34 acre country residential district lot that is located adjacent to the east side of 64th Street West, 1 mile south of 242nd Avenue, and a little less than 1 mile to the north of 274th Avenue. The development officer decision was circulated to those landowners within the subject quarter section and for 1/2 mile surrounding on September 10th and was advertised in the Western Wheel newspaper on September 10th and September 17th, 2025. This submitted application for development permit requests the relocation of an existing accessory building within the boundaries of the property so that a 1-bedroom secondary suite could be constructed within it. You can see the tiny picture in the middle is the existing accessory building with the intention of moving it further to the southeast on the parcel and restructuring it. Along with this application, it was also identified that an additional accessory building having a footprint of plus minus 2,760 square feet was proposed to be located on the property. While varying from the configuration allowed for under Section 421 of the Land Use Bylaw, the request for a total footprint of combined accessory building and garage space was 5,222 square feet, when the land use bylaw permits a total of 5,300 square feet in combined space for these purposes. In providing determination on an appeal of the development to permit decision, the board may choose to confirm, revoke, or vary the decision or any condition attached to it, or make or substitute an order of your own. And please let me know of any questions that you may have.
Board members, any questions at this time? Being none, we now hear from the applicants. Just to alert you, the microphone, you have to get quite close to it.
Okay.
And we'd ask that you give your name before you present.
I'm Brandon Gramlich. This is my wife, Teresa Gramlich. I guess I'm not sure what I'm supposed to be saying right now. I think she summed up what we're applying for, and I've read the appeals, and from what I can read on the appeals, they're concerned with it being used commercially, and I don't think we applied for it to be used commercially, so I'm not sure what I'm supposed to say right now, to be honest. So, is there anything specific that I should go through with it, or?
Well, a little bit, just as you're aware, as the clerk indicated, we're going from the paper in front of us, so it's our orders a little bit different. So go ahead and just clarify everything for us. That you and the development officer are the only two that really have firsthand knowledge. So we'd appreciate it if you clarify it for us.
Yeah, we bought the property, I'm going to say 9 years ago, something like that. And that accessory building was already on the property. We always had the intent of finishing it. I love the idea of having a second garage so that the quad and lawnmower and all that stuff, tractor can be in there and out of the elements. And that was always our intent, to finish that building that was already existing when we bought the property. Every year I would go and get into doing that. I didn't realize how bad they built it, I guess. Like from the outside, it doesn't look too bad, but they don't have any footings on the foundation. The I-joists are too small upstairs. The beam that they have is spliced, and they just have teleposts kind of jimmy rigged in the middle with no supports underneath. So it was just kind of layer after layer. I'm finding that there's a lot of stuff that needed to be fixed, and I was trying to solve all of that, and it became challenging. And somebody finally said to us that it's probably easier to pick this building up and put it onto a new foundation than it is to try to put an existing foundation with it standing in place to support the weight. So that's what we're trying to do right now, is put a new foundation, move this building on to that new foundation, and then while we're doing that, build a shop barn on the north end of the property. So that's our intent, is to finish the building that is already there and build a shop barn closer to the field as well.
And you might as well address the appellant's concerns. You've seen the package, I presume.
Yeah, I've read them. Like, to be quite honest, I don't understand. Like, I'm not maybe understanding the concerns. Like, I see that they don't want it used as commercial use. We haven't applied to use it as a commercial use, and that's not our intent. And if we ever wanted to use it as commercial use, I assume that there's an application that we would have to go through to do that at that time. We're not applying to use it commercially right now. I'm a cabinet maker. I bought a building in Calgary. I own a business. We work out of the business in Calgary. My wife is a hairdresser. We initially had, on the last application when we were going to finish it, we had putting a salon in there. She does hair on TV movies. So she, just finished Heartland. And so sometimes she does clients' hair. She lots of times drives to their house, just people that she knows mainly. So we were thinking about putting a salon in there so that people could come over and she could do the odd haircut and color and whatever in that space. We decided not to do that this time. So we didn't apply for that. So we don't have an intent of putting a salon in there at the moment. So.
But we have in front of us the secondary suite.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk to that?
Yeah. So right now they have a second floor on there, and I just thought it would be nice to finish it as a secondary, like as a suite, because I just thought that'd be the best use for it. I guess like we don't have an intent of doing an Airbnb or a bed and breakfast or anything like that out of it. We haven't really decided what we're going to use it for. We have thought about renting it out to like a long-term tenant, but I didn't know we would have to apply for that, or don't know if we have to apply for that. So we haven't really discussed what we're doing with that space yet. We just want to finish the building. It's been a long time and the building doesn't look very good. And like the neighbor expressed, they're probably done looking at it. We're done looking at it unfinished. We'd like to finish it and deal with it. So it's just been a long road to do that.
And I think their concern was also appearance of the building when it's finished, right?
I think their concern is finishing the building, and that's what we're applying to do, I guess. So, yeah.
Maybe the simplest way is that I'll go to the board members if they have any questions, and for clarification.
Okay.
And if we have to go to a round table, Ms. Bartnick is there for us to give us some guidance as well. So board members, Mr. Robson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm not accustomed to being in a session where there's just one group of people here. So this is interesting and fun at the same time. We get these packages in advance and we get an opportunity to review them. Yeah. And you started to talk about the salon, which was one item I had a question of, simply because when you take a look at the appeals, the reason for the appeals, and some communication about commercialization or using property for commercial. And it was the salon, and it was the document we have on page 109 of our package, which was the commercial officer was asking for you to clarify whether there will be a salon or not a salon. So understanding that you do hair, I was about to say do hair, do hair. Yeah. I think that may be why some of the concern showed up from the those that are appealing the decision. Yeah. And thank you for answering the question, but you also said that at the moment you're not considering putting a salon in. Why don't we just clarify a variety of things? Sure. I would suspect you might want to put a salon on your property, make it easier for yourself, or not. I don't know. So here's an opportunity for you to just really let us know what your intention is of that particular piece of property, knowing your capability to literally work anywhere there's running water, I would presume.
Why I said at the moment is, like right now she does hair in the movie industry. Mm-hmm. We have zero intent of her opening up a salon in there and creating a salon out of there. Does life change? Like, does she not want to do hair in the movies anymore and just want to do some clients at our place? I don't know. Like that, I'm just being honest. Like if life changes, but I would assume that there's an application to then have a business at home, like a home business. So we're not going to just sneaky start a salon tomorrow and say that that's not the intent and put a salon in there. That's not what we're doing right now.
I think we would want to structure it that way for a possibility of a salon, but like he's kind of saying, we would apply for that then separately. Is that correct? If that's then what we wanted to do 5 years down the road, or?
And
That would be a question, because I'm not sure if that's, 'cause,
how it
like, we're
worked.
not putting like a salon in there if we were to complete it right now.
And I would assume, do we have to apply for a salon if we wanted to put one in later? Is that
How it works.
how it works? I would.
Miss,
I would
Miss
allow our
Bartnick,
development officer to
Okay.
make those comments
Yeah.
Okay.
if we
So
can.
if I may, Mr. Chair, through the benefit or for the benefit of the both the applicants and the board, if any type of commercial entity was contemplated on the property, they would first require the benefit of a development permit. We do have multiple, I believe it's 3 now, categories for home-based businesses that they could make an application under. Just as with this application, under the Municipal Government Act, there are certain requirements for circulation and notification to area landowners. Additionally, with regard to reference, both in the appellants and in the comment made by the applicant, if someone has a secondary suite, or even if, for instance, somebody wishes to rent out their property for long-term use within the county, they may do so without additional permit. It's the short-term rentals, or as was referenced, Airbnb, that we refer to as tourist homes, and those require additional approvals.
Thank you, Ms. Bartnick. I have nothing further, Mr. Chair, and thank you for your comments.
Board members have any questions? We just kind of meshed everything this morning together. Oh,
Like to do for.
I guess since we've exhausted questions from the board, do you have any closing comments that you wish to make? Not necessary, but if you have anything.
No. No,
Thank you.
I don't have anything further to say.
Ms. Bartnick, any closing comments?
I have nothing additional. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. So with that, I will close the hearing. The board will make its decision today. The decision comes out in writing in about 15 days. Thank you for coming out this morning. Thank you.
Thank you.
you.